All right, folks. Well, tomorrow, October begins with a Social Security shock that could change the way that millions of Americans receive or even miss their checks. That's right, folks. Two dates stand between you and your money. October 1st and October 15th. Now, on October 1st, the old system dies. Paper checks are gone forever thanks to President Trump's executive order forcing Social Security into a digital-only future. 5 million people could wake up and find nothing in their mailbox, no paper check, no money, unless they act right now. Then, just 2 weeks later, October 15th brings the announcement that decides your entire 2026 income, the official COLA increase. Will it be enough to cover rent, food, and rising Medicare costs? Or will seniors once again be told to make do with crumbs while inflation eats away at their buying power? These two dates are colliding like never before. If you miss them and, miss these dates, and let me just tell you right now, you risk missing your entire paycheck or even losing the raise that you've been waiting for all year. Now, I don't think anybody wants either of those scenarios, right? So stick with me, guys. I have a lot to share with you guys because in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through everything you must know before October hits, the new rules, the payment dates, the changes, the deadlines, and of course, the cold reality of what your Social Security check will look like going into 2026. This is not just another update. This is your financial lifeline, and the clock is ticking. Hit the like button and subscribe, folks. Okay, so basically, tomorrow changes everything. October isn't just another month on the calendar. It is the start of one of the most critical shifts in Social Security history. Now, two dates really stand out. October 1st and October 15th. Now, miss either one and your financial future could be shaken. On October 1st, checks stop being what they've always been. On October 15th, the raise that decides your 2026 income, that will be revealed. Now, let's be very clear. These changes don't come out of nowhere. They are happening under the direction of President Donald J. Trump, who earlier this year signed an executive order that permanently alters the way benefits are delivered. The safety net millions rely on is being rewritten, and the countdown ends tomorrow. So now let's talk about the first shock, okay? SSI recipients are about to see two deposits hit their accounts in October. One arrives on October 1st and the other on October 31st. Now, it sounds like a bonus, right? Wrong. This is not free money. This is just the November payment arriving early because the 1st of November falls on a weekend. Now, some folks are getting a little bit excited, but they're thinking that we've been handed a windfall. But the thing is that come December 1st, reality will hit. There's no extra check waiting. It's a calendar adjustment, not generosity. Yeah, I know the government's never generous. So this kind of timing quirk, if you will, this can trick people into spending what they don't really have. So the government's not giving out a 13th payment. They're just simply shuffling the dates around. So, and I just want you guys to understand this because you need to understand this now, because if you don't, you're going to feel the sting of a missing check when the new month begins. Now, your Medicare plan should protect you. It's supposed to, but way too often it protects the insurance company instead of you. That is why I partnered with Chapter. They make sure that your Medicare plan is protecting the right person, you. And one of our viewers said, for once, I felt like my Medicare plan was on my side. So let me ask, whose side do you want your plan on? Now, most people, they're already calling the phone number right there at the bottom of your screen, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron. That telephone number is on your screen, 909-563-8279, and tell them your friend Ron says hello. Now, the second shock comes on the very same day. I know, it's a lot going on. October 1st marks the end of paper Social Security checks nationwide. That's right, guys. So if you still rely on the mailbox instead of a bank account, tomorrow could be the day that your benefits vanish into thin air. Now, President Donald J. Trump's March 2025 executive order fast-tracked this move, forcing Social Security Administration to go fully digital. Now, roughly 5 million Americans are still on paper, and for them, the clock is about to run out of time. Now, if you miss this switch and your October benefit, well, it might never arrive. No delays, no exemptions, no exceptions. The government's message is clear. Adapt or risk losing access to the money that you've earned. I know it doesn't sound fair, but I'm just letting you guys know what they're planning to do. Now, imagine waiting for your check only to find your mailbox completely empty, not because of fraud or theft, but because the system left you behind. That is the nightmare that begins tomorrow. So how do you avoid disaster? Two lifelines exist. direct deposit and the Direct Express prepaid debit card. Now, direct deposit means logging into my Social Security account and linking your bank. Direct Express is designed for those without an account, and it's a government-backed debit card that still guarantees your payment. But let's be clear, if you don't act, you're gambling with your livelihood. There is a so-called waiver option, but the Treasury only approves it in extremely rare cases, usually medical or severe hardship. Now, for nearly everyone else, the choice is digital or nothing. And so here's a real situation here. Anyone who doesn't get this switch right, if you don't get the switch right, you could wake up October 1st with no money in your account. So the very benefits that you count on for food, for rent, for medicine, gone, all because the rules got changed overnight. So now I want to kind of zoom out just for a second, because October 1st isn't just about Social Security. It's part of something bigger, much bigger. In fact, the Federal Reserve has openly stated that by 2030, they want cash gone. I know. Federal Reserve wants to get rid of the cash. Why do you think they want to do that, guys? Why do you think the Fed wants to get rid of cash? No paper money, no coins, no paper checks, an entirely digital monetary system. And President Trump's modernization order from March, it accelerated that timeline. So whether people realize it or not, tomorrow's switch to electronic only Social Security payments, it's just the first domino. And here's the uncomfortable question. Is this really about efficiency and security, or is it about control? Once every transaction is digital, every dollar you spend, save, or withdraw is 100% traceable. Or how about, what if the power goes out and they delete all the data and all the money you think you had digitally is gone? Well, this is the power most Americans never voted for. And tomorrow, October 1st, millions will feel the first ripple of that future. Now, don't catch your breath just yet, because the second critical update is only 2 weeks away. On October 15th, the Social Security Administration will announce the official cost of living adjustment, or the COLA, for 2026. Now, there's a lot of folks out there who are receiving Social Security who don't know about this. There are a lot of folks who are about to apply or qualify for Social Security who don't know about this. Make sure you share this video with them so that they understand what's coming down the pipeline. This isn't just a number on paper, the COLA for 2026. This is the percentage that dictates how much money is going to land in your bank account every single month for the next year. And so based on the inflation data from July and August and September, the Senior Citizens League is projecting a 2.7 to 2.8% increase. So that means that the average retiree's monthly check, currently around $2,583, could rise to roughly $2,645 in 2026. Now, if you're getting $2,500, if you're getting $2,583 a month, would you really be happy with seeing your monthly Social Security check increase to $2,645? It really doesn't seem that good, but I guess it does sound pretty good. It's better than a sharp stick in the eye, right? But here's the kicker. When groceries are up 15%, rents keep climbing, and Medicare premiums are swallowing bigger chunks every single year. And you got to ask yourself, is a 2.8% bump really enough to survive? That answer officially will land on October 15th, the day your 2026 income is locked in stone. So make sure you give our friends at Chapter a call today. I left a link for you guys in the description down below this video and in the pinned comment. Give our friends a call at Chapter today and see how much money they can save you on your Medicare, because we all know everything's going up, and if you can save all that much better, right? Now, here's where the anger kind of boils over. Because while 2.8% sounds like relief, where experts are saying seniors have been cheated out of 20% of their buying power since 2010. Now, think about that. 15 years of inflation outrunning your benefits. Now, according to the Senior Citizens League, retirees today should be getting $370 more every month just to keep even with where they were in 2010. Drop a $370 in the comments if you demand an extra $370 a month. But they're not. Why? Because COLA is calculated using the CPI-W. This is an index that's designed for the urban wage earners, not for retirees. So they've been doing it wrong for a long time. Seniors spend way more on healthcare, housing, and prescriptions, categories that skyrocket way faster than the CPI. Now, if you add in Medicare Part B premiums and the rising housing costs, and that so-called 2.8% increase looks a lot more like a slap in the face. Seniors are asking, does this fix 15 years of losses? And the answer is obvious. It's no. The frustration is building, and October 15th could become the flashpoint. So now let's put the puzzle pieces together, shall we? October 1st and October 15th. On October 1st, paper checks, they end forever. So if you're not ready, you don't get paid. Plain and simple. On October 15th, the COLA announcement decides your income for all of 2026. 2 dates, 2 turning points. Miss the first, and your October payment disappears. If you miss the second, and your financial picture for the next year is set in stone without your voice in the fight. So these are not just some bureaucratic deadlines. They're choke points for millions of Americans. And here's a real situation. Most people watching this right now, they still don't even realize how closely their future hangs on these 2 days. It's not even hype, it's reality, and it begins tomorrow. Now, we can't talk about these October shocks without addressing President Donald J. Trump's role. On the one hand, it was Trump's March 2025 executive order that set the October 1st as the deadline for phasing out the paper checks. This is why millions are being forced into electronic payments starting tomorrow. Kind of framed it as a modernization, faster, safer, more efficient, and it will save money, which would actually benefit the Social Security Administration. So it's a very smart move financially, because who doesn't want the money in the Social Security fund to last longer, right? So it's a smart move. There's only so much money available. But on the other hand, Trump has also been the president who removed the Social Security taxes for 90% of beneficiaries, making sure that retirees were not double taxed on the income that they already paid into for decades. So again, Trump was looking out for the seniors. He was looking out for beneficiaries. So this is why the moment is kind of complicated, because Trump is seen as both the reformer, cleaning up the inefficiencies, but also the disruptor, because, he's pushing through some changes that unsettle those who depend on consistency the most. But love him or hate him, Trump's fingerprints are all over these October deadlines, and tomorrow, every beneficiary in America will feel the impact. Now, meanwhile, in Congress, there's a different kind of change that's underway. This is one that's aimed at reducing confusion. The Claiming Age Clarity Act has been moving through both the House and the Senate with overwhelming bipartisan support. In fact, the goal is to simplify Social Security's language around when you can claim benefits. Instead of early eligibility age, it could be called minimum benefit age. That's 62, but with up to a 30% permanent reduction. So instead of full retirement age, it becomes standard benefit age, 66 or 67, depending upon when you were born. And so instead of delayed retirement age, it becomes maximum benefit age 70, where you can boost your benefit by up to 24%. Now, the stakes are absolutely massive. If you claim too early, you can end up locking yourself into a $1,368 per month payment. Okay. Now, if you wait until 70 years old and that same check could be $2,425, but which would you rather have, the check for $1,368 or the check for $2,428? That's $1,000 difference every single month for the rest of your life. So this legislation won't change the math, but it could stop millions from making disastrous choices because of confusing terminology. So here's the real elephant in the room, guys. Even as we argue over COLA percentages and payment methods, and Social Security itself is running out of a runway, the trust funds are projected to run dry in just 8 to 12 years. That means by the mid-2030s, the program will only be able to pay out what it collects from workers, and that's not enough. Without reform, benefits could face automatic cuts, 20%, 25% across the board. Imagine this. If you're counting on a $1,000 per month paycheck, that check suddenly drops to $750. Or worse, if you're depending on $2,000 a month, it could shrink overnight to only $1,500 per month. Now, for seniors already living on the edge, that's not just tightening the belt, it's survival. And Congress knows this. Economists know this. The Social Security itself, the Social Security Administration, the SSA, they know it, and they've already admitted it. But the can, if you notice, the can keeps on getting kicked down the road. October's deadlines, they feel urgent, but they're only a preview of the cliff that's looming just ahead. So how do lawmakers fix this crisis? Every option comes with some degree of pain. Raise taxes on workers, and younger generations revolt and get mad and riot in the streets and protest. Rage. Now if you raise the retirement age, maybe the young people don't get us pissed off, but seniors will feel cheated out of the benefits that they've paid into for years. If you restructure the benefits, like showing COLA growth or a means testing higher earners, and you risk turning Social Security into a welfare program instead of an earned benefit. Every one of these choices makes someone pay. Either it's today's retirees or it's tomorrow's workers. And so here's where the real situation lies. The math is unforgiving. To keep the system solvent, Congress must either take more in or pay less out. There's really no third option. Seniors are already bracing for the fact, or at least at the thought of their retirement age being pushed to 69 years old or even 70 years old. Can you imagine they're telling you, oh, you can't retire at 65, you got to retire at 70? Now, workers fear higher payroll taxes, and both sides fear one outcome: that politicians will wait until the last second, forcing drastic cuts on everyone. The fight is coming. Now, the only question is who's going to end up paying. Now, here's something that most people just completely overlook. October 15th, it's not just COLA Day. It's also the opening of Medicare's annual enrollment period. Now, from October 15th through December 7th, every Medicare plan in America resets. Some will vanish entirely. Others are going to change the premiums. The deductibles are going to be changing. Drug coverage. Millions of seniors who assume that their plan is going to just go ahead and stay the same the way it's always been, they're going to discover way too late that their doctor no longer is covered or that their prescription is all of a sudden costing double. This is why October is so dangerous, folks. This is not one deadline. It is a pileup. COLA locks in your Social Security raise for 2026, and Medicare forces you to make decisions that could save or cost you thousands. Now, if you pick wrong, well, you're stuck for an entire year. Seniors who don't review their options risk overpaying or losing access to the care that they need the most. And the kicker is that 90% of seniors are already in the wrong Medicare plan today. So what I've done for you folks is I've left a link and a phone number down below. If you look in the description right there down below or in the pinned comment, you can call Chapter completely free for the Ron Yates community. And you can just say, hey, Ron said for me to call you. I know that this is, we're approaching this open enrollment period. I just want to make sure that that my Medicare plan is okay and what changes are going to happen and how is it going to affect me. And that's what I would do. I would literally just say, hey, can you just review my Medicare plan? Ron told me to call you. Like, that simple. They already know what to do. So they're going to find whatever benefits you qualify for. They're going to find the best plan for you. And if they can save you money, they're going to do that too. And they're only going to do it if you want them to. And they're never going to charge you. So it's just really awesome. Now, if all of this feels overwhelming, I get it. It's because the stakes could not be any higher. Surveys show 56% of Social Security recipients can't survive even half of 1 month's check being delayed. Now, that's scary, right? If you missed 1 month check, if like one of your Social Security checks didn't come in on time, wouldn't that be a problem? Think about that. One small hiccup and half the country's retirees are underwater. Even worse, 8 in 10. Look, 8 in 10 Americans, that's 80% of Americans, don't even know their true claiming age, meaning millions are at risk of locking themselves into permanently lower benefits out of pure confusion. The system is stacked with jargon and crazy tiny fonts and words most people don't even understand. It's like, unless you're a lawyer, you don't even get it. And, the deadlines and the moving parts that even financial experts are struggling to track themselves. And meanwhile, seniors are left with the nearly impossible task of making life or death decisions with incomplete information. The emotional toll is just crushing. Stress, anxiety, sleepless nights over whether the money they have is going to stretch far enough to cover the groceries and medication and housing. October is not just about numbers on a page. It is about whether millions of Americans can hold on to dignity, independence, and peace of mind. So here we are, folks. Tonight is the last night before the storm begins. October 1st, the paper checks end. October 15th, the COLA announcement drops. 2 dates that will absolutely define your financial future for the next year and maybe even beyond that. So if you're not ready, you risk losing your payment tomorrow or being blindsided by a COLA that doesn't even come close to keeping up with inflation. So these aren't optional deadlines. They're actually hard, immovable walls that millions of Americans are about to crash into. Now, here's the bottom line. Nobody's going to prepare you but you, okay? The government's not going to prepare you. The politicians are not going to prepare you. Heck, they probably don't even care. The media definitely won't. This is why I've laid it all out for you guys today so that you can take action. If you need to watch this video again from the very beginning, just start the video over and watch it all the way through. And if you're watching it again, make sure to get a pen and paper and take notes. I've left some very important information in this video. I hope that you've gained some incredible value out of it. And if you know anyone who's receiving Social Security or about to receive Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or about to qualify for Medicare, share this video with them if you consider yourself a friend of theirs, because they're going to need it. You can either take action now, or, if you can take action now, you can set up your direct deposit. You can check your Medicare options, brace yourself for that COLA number, or you can just go ahead and sit back and let October swallow your benefits whole. I think you guys are pretty smart, so I think you'll make the right decision. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask you one final time. Are you ready? Because tomorrow, October begins, and there are no do-overs.